Hello and welcome. Today I'm doing things a little bit out of order for the introduction. Today we'll be playing Dynamics port of Rama based on the books by Arthur C. Clarke and the sequels by Gentry Lee. Unlike Lighthouse though, this game has not made it to Steam or GOG, so for that reason I had to source a physical version myself. That's the only way ScumVM will work it. And this will be a long intro lined up because there's something really special I have in store for you. Sit back and watch. As soon as it's over, I'll actually launch this.
In a few minutes, we will be returning to Observer Retro Streams. Up next, the Space Saga continues with the adventure game, Rama, Part 2 on June 14th. On June 28th, we will wrap up the Legacy of Agent 5 with the Journeyman Project 3, Legacy of Time, continued on July 12th. Now, stand by for an epic fan rendition of 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Welcome to Rama. I'm Arthur C. Clarke. We're about to enter a gigantic cylinder that has suddenly arrived in our solar system from the depths of space. Gentry Lee and I are delighted to share with you this unique vision of the Rama universe. We hope that you will find our Rama world as engrossing and compelling as millions of moviegoers have found 2001: A Space Odyssey over the past quarter century.
In a few
Oh dear. The wrong one was selected. I'll probably edit that out. It's this one. Sorry about that. Here we are. Now, like I said, why is the cursor stuck? Way to ruin the moment. Curse of the Let's Play. Something always goes wrong when you're recording, but never when you're offline. There, that's better. Anyway, although this says prologue, this is the trailer for the game, and that's why I abridged it, because if I showed the full thing, it would spoil elements that will be shown in part 2. And this came on 3 discs. The first 2 were for the 2 halves of the main game, but they saved the third for these interviews. I'm not gonna bother showing it, but I may record for it in the future. Record a video. Anyway, with the hubbub out of the way, let's start this for real.
4 years ago, a gigantic cylindrical spaceship of unknown origin was discovered hurtling toward our sun. The International Space Agency decided to mount an expedition to explore this enigmatic messenger from another world. 12 carefully selected astronauts trained for years for this rendezvous with the alien ship named Rama. 2 days ago, after the crew had completed its initial sortie into the dark and hollow interior of Rama, astronaut Commander Valery Borzov mysteriously died following a routine medical procedure. You are to replace Borzov. The mission commander, Dr. David Brown, will give you specific assignments, but your general mission is straightforward. Explore Rama. Discover as much as you can about the origin and purpose of this intruder from the stars.
Hi, bonjour. I am Nicole Desjardins, the medical officer. I hope that your shuttle ride over was uneventful. For all of us here, I would like to welcome you to Rama and let you know that we really need your help. This is the hub site. Your ARM computer should be located in your locker over there. As I'm sure you know, it is our most critical piece of equipment. You'll need it to read all the data cubes and the crew member vidmail. Speaking of vidmail, the hub site computer against that wall contains introductory vidmail for you from each of the other crew members. They're all eager to say hello. I guess that covers the critical things. It's really dark down here inside this hollow cylinder, which makes the work a little bit more difficult, but we're all getting used to it. Meanwhile, everyone else is busy working inside Rama, installing the remaining infrastructure and discovering new and fascinating artifacts. Right now, I'm going to take the cable car back down to my work site. Why don't you just stay here for a while and look around? You can check out the hub site and your equipment, and then come and join us. Au revoir.
Yeah. For what I built up, this is kind of an anticlimax, but, well, it's not much different than how Obsidian started, because yes, we do have kind of an info dump ahead. And if the video didn't confuse anyone, well, that's because I intentionally cropped out this HUD, because it's another one of those chunky types from as were common in the 90s. But I'll show how it works. First, this will explain whatever we're interacting with, like this key. These are our settings. No separate music or speech, it's all one setting. If we select an item and then put it in front of these robot eyes, we get a close-up that is also interactive. And this will be important later for puzzles, but you can also zoom in using right-click as well. For this compass, I couldn't fully figure out how this worked until I looked at the manual. This schematic here outlines just how big Rama actually is. It's a cylindrical spaceship, 50 kilometers by 20, I think it says, and the north part of the compass is actually targeted to the far end of the ship, which is actually called the Great Horns in the book. And so we're at the exact opposite end right now, which technically speaking means we should be in zero gravity, but gameplay is gameplay. So first order business, our locker. A multi-tool, and the wrist computer. I actually wanted one of these for a while. And the reason we have to deal with the info dump is because the cable car is currently at the bottom. Oh, VidMail.
Hello again. Nicole told me that you had arrived. Welcome to Rama. Say, would you do me a favor, just a little one? I left my cigarette lighter up there in my locker. Would you bring it with you when you come down and leave it at the tent site? I'd really appreciate it.
Astronauts smoking on a spaceship. Now that sounds like a bad sign right there. So each astronaut has a number, and we're number 2. Well, let's see what the crew wants to tell us. Thankfully, unlike Obsidian, the game actually tells us which of these is actually required to advance the game, which is why these 2 are marked as urgent. But I'm going to show them last. I'm going to go top to bottom. These are all the characters from the Rama II novel that was mentioned in the trailer. Because yes, it isn't just an Arthur C. Clarke adaptation. It's an adaptation of the sequel, but it's in a way that it cuts out a lot of useless fluff, as we'll see.
Irashai, welcome to Rama. We are all delighted to have you join us on this incredible expedition. I am Dr. Shigeru Takagishi, one of the 2 scientists on the Rama mission. When I was a boy, I looked up at the night sky filled with stars and wondered how many different kinds of life and intelligence might exist in our vast universe. I decided then, as a child, to spend my life learning about the physical and biochemical processes that somehow produced human beings out of a nebular cloud of dust. As you can imagine, my being selected for the Newton team was a thrill and honor beyond my wildest dreams. I am eagerly looking forward to working with you. If I can help you in any way, please call.
Now, anyone watching, anyone who has space experience, I want you to gauge as to just how fit these people are to be astronauts. Because in the book, at least from what Ross's Game Dungeon mentioned, this guy has a heart condition with an irregular beat. That's no good. This is the person we're supposed to get orders from.
Welcome aboard, astronaut. ISA officials told me that you've been thoroughly briefed on the goals and progress of our expedition. Good, because none of us has time to explain a lot of background information. Now, what we need as soon as possible is a contributing team member. We have many more tasks to accomplish than we have resources. In a minute. I'm Dr. David Brown, of course, commander of the Newton mission. Until the untimely death of Valery Bortsov, I was chief Newton scientist. Now, what I want from you is competence and initiative. People with our experience and training shouldn't need mollycoddling or to be told to do something more than once. If you have any routine questions about what's going on, talk to Nicole Desjardins. She's the chief medical officer and has the most free time of the crew.
This is the one who asked for that cigarette lighter.
Hello, and welcome to the team. As I'm sure you know, I'm Francesca Sabatini, vid journalist for the Newton Project. I file the daily Rama report for the IBC newsfeed, plus cover our major developments live. To say that the people on Earth are fascinated by what we are discovering here would be the understatement of the century. They're also very interested in the human aspects of the expedition. I've already done personal profiles on all your astronaut colleagues, so as soon as you're acclimated, I want to chat with you about your background, your personal aspirations, anything of human interest. I hope you have a really good tragedy or scandal in your past. The more exotic, the better. Believe me, my broadcasts are desperate for fresh human interest right now. Unlike some of our colleagues, I happen to like company in the evenings after the work is done. And while I keep my vices in check, I'll never pass up a good party. I also love chess, bridge, backgammon, all the competitive games. Come see me when you feel like it. The more I know about you, the better I can do my job.
Place your bets now. I bet 2-1 she's the villain of this story. Ross actually mentioned that in the book she smuggles cigarettes inside her spacesuit to get them on here. Yeah, something's very off with this Miss Sabatini. Another smoker? Really?
I am Otto Heilmann, Chief Security Officer of the Newton Project. My job is to assess whether the enormous Rama spaceship represents a threat either to the Newton crew or to Earth. In carrying out my orders, I have the assistance of 2 agents from the International Bureau of Investigation, Yamanaka and Tabori. However, it is unlikely that your paths will cross because your assignments are so different. Please, I ask you to remember one thing. We are engaged in what may be an exceedingly dangerous undertaking. Whoever created this awesome alien ship could be extremely hostile and malevolent. Heilmann out.
So far, this crew just has disaster waiting to happen written all over it, but we're not even halfway through the list yet.
Hello. I'm Reggie Wilson, the writer and journalist representing all the print media on this crazy expedition. Welcome aboard. Though after what happened to Commander Bortzoff, I think I should wish you luck. I have to tell you, this trip hasn't turned out the way I expected. Most of our key questions remain unanswered. For instance, we still have no idea who built the giant Rama spaceship or what the hell it's doing here. If you ask Dr. Brown, our scientific genius, he'll pontificate for hours, but he can't answer the question. Well, I need to interview you in the next day or two if possible. Everyone on Earth is familiar with the rest of the crew, thanks to our ambitious colleague, Ms. Sabatini, who I'm sure is already beginning to hound you. Nicely, of course. Anyway, save some fresh copy for me, too. And listen, give me a call if you want to share a beer or two. It could be pretty damn lonely up here.
Hello. I am astronaut Irina Turgenev from Kiev in the Ukraine. A career service officer, I have flown and completed 14 space missions, including a 2-year stint on Much Station on Mars. I want you to know, nothing in my experience has even remotely prepared me for this project. Frankly, I have the feeling there is something sinister about this great, dark, hollow cylinder from nowhere. I felt this even before Valery Borzov died, and now my feelings have intensified. However, this is not the proper introduction for a new member of our crew. What I wanted to do is to welcome you and to give you a few words of advice. I must tell you, be wary of both Dr. Brown and reporter Sabatini. You should know they have their own agendas, different from the rest of us. So, if you want any other words of wisdom, please call me.
Hello again. At least I hope it's again. Dr. Brown has told me that I am to be your official greeter, but I decided to record this vidmail just in case. As I'm sure you know, I'm the chief medical officer of the crew. That means that I am both doctor and pharmacist, so if you ever need aspirin or any other medication, simply give me a call. I realize that it is difficult to join the team in the middle of a mission, especially one like this with so many extraordinary individuals. Now, I don't want to be pushy, but if I can help in any way, or if you want to talk about anything, just let me know. As you perform your exploration tasks in Rama, I'll drop by from time to time to chat and to see how you're doing. Of course, if you have any health problems, please call immediately. Even if I'm not in the vicinity, I can at least guide you to the med packs that we stashed about. Well, take care and see you soon.
Alright, now pay attention to these two because there's actually some information hidden in them that we'll need to write down.
I'm Michael O'Toole, Irishman from Boston, father of 4 great kids, proud grandfather of 9. With my free time, I study religion, physics, encryption, and number theory. Now, I want you to hear this from me before the other astronauts tell you. As a number theorist, I have a favorite numerical sequence. Did you know that if you take the number 41 and add first 2, then 4, then 6, to obtain the sequence of 41, 43, 47, 53, etc., that the first 40 numbers are all primes, and no other similar sequence of that length exists? I can hear my wife, Kathleen, inside my head telling me that rambling on about number sequences is no way to make a fit introduction. I want to give you a warm welcome, tell you that among my other duties, I'm codemaster for the crew. The cable car, for example, is activated by the numbers 4143. And that I would love to chat with you when you have more time. Goodbye for now.
Now keep that in mind. When the cable car comes back, we need to enter 4143. And lastly, this fellow, my favorite of the bunch.
Well, well, well. So we have a true parvenu joining us in the middle of our mission. Well, that's all right with me. But I must say, I'm actually impressed the ISA sent someone so quickly. Heaven knows we can certainly use your help. And
discretion is the better part of valor. Discretion is the better part of valor.
Sorry. Oh, I'm Richard Wakefield. I'm the chief tech engineer on this team. My job is to know how every piece of engineering equipment works. My passion is Shakespeare, as well as electronics, which suggests I should now introduce you to Falstaff here, one of my best creations. I have more of these guys in my menagerie, and I've even created one for you.
Zones! Mistress quickly must be calling!
The bard wrote many great words, my friend, and some might even have been designed with you in mind. There is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Like it or not, you are going to be famous. And if you can do something even a little outstanding, you'll probably never need to work again. But it won't be easy. So, to keep you from screwing up, I offer you the talents of the mischievous Puck, who's hiding in my locker here, and whom I will now summon for you. Puck, you can come out now. Puck!
Well, that last one actually had some effect. See how this computer has visible speakers here? Whoa! Okay then. There's actual aliens in this ship. Anyway, when I was looking at the lockers, I glossed over this, but this locker in particular has a microphone attached to it. So perhaps with the end of that message, maybe this triggered the lock.
Yes, indeed, I'm Puck. Or more accurately, you're Puck. I was created by Master Wakefield to be your guide, but not your conscience, I hasten to point out. Truth be told, I enjoy mischief and adventure far more than your average elf. I've been programmed with all sorts of fascinating information gleaned from our initial sorties into Rama. I also possess a special multi-wave receiver that permits me, on your behalf, to pick up transmissions of many different kinds. I am, in a phrase, entirely at your service. If you wonder where your puck is, you need only search your pocket.
So Puck is like an action figure-sized android created by Dr. Richard Wakefield. He's basically like, anyone remembers when I played the Journeyman Project 2 Buried in Time, he's a bit like Arthur, where he had a comment button. Here's how it works. When we select Puck, if we roll over anything that lights up with a name and click it, he'll give a description of it.
This door leads back into the airlock. This is where your shuttle is currently parked. The hub camp main computer is being used to store data about Rama. Personal messages may be found here as well.
But before we go, and yes, retrieving Puck is what triggers the cable car to come back, but we still gotta find that lighter. Now what in the world is this?
I do not understand the purpose of this device, but it appears to be of human construction.
Well, whatever it is, it's not armed, so that's a good sign. Aha! Well, 6 was Sabatini's number, so this must be what we need. Holy... Sabatini, what were you doing? I'll come out and say it. This is since this is a Sierra game, we have to take literally everything that's not nailed down. Yes, data cubes. We access these by clicking them on our wrist computer. Since you've become the mission commander and the natural star instead of the chief scientist, I'm concerned that yesterday's interview may have left the impression that you were cold and lacking in compassion. We need to correct that by reinforcing your warmth and other human qualities. I'll meet you here by the tent site at 17:30, and then in my quarters after dinner. Ugh. So everything we get, including data cubes, is stored here. This key doesn't have a number, but there's actually a really easy way to find out which one it goes to. Just pan over them until you find the one that turns red. 7 was Otto Heilmann. Oh, this one's obviously encrypted, so I guess we'll have to wait on this. Alright, now that we have everything, it's time to head down. 4, 1, 4, 3. Well, here we are at the tent site. Huh. During my write down on the cable car, I remember seeing in your dossier that you were a big fan of the 20th century writer Arthur C. Clarke. I left you a data cube containing one of my favorite Clarke passages, an excerpt from 3001 on the table next to this note, from Nicole Desjardins. Yeah, as if the original author's presence wasn't enough, they actually slipped a fragment of this actual novel into the game. I never read this one. Printed in 1997. Did I mention the game takes place in the year 2200? I'm not even going to bother looking through that.
These are storage units for small items. This computer terminal was here for the convenience of the scientist while constructing the base camp. It is now used solely as a relay between the hub camp computer and the astronauts' wrist computers.
Well, she wanted her lighter, so I guess I'll just drop it here. And just to be on the safe side...
Those idiots. They may be brilliant, but they certainly aren't smart. Oh. Hello. I didn't know you were down here already. Hey, wasn't it a shock when the lights came on? Nearly scared me to death. I just stood there for several minutes and stared at everything. What a place. You're probably wondering what I am doing with this. Brown and Wakefield think we are going to capture an alien. Yes, really. Can you imagine it? I just hope the Ramans or whoever created this damn place don't decide to capture us instead. Dr. Takagishi had a word for our attitude. He told me last night, after Brown overruled his objection to the hunt, that our leader and chief engineer both suffer from hubris. At least. At the very least.
So judging by this, it seems the crew does know there are aliens here, because now it seems they have some sort of scheme to capture one with that rope. Can't see... Well, I don't know. Wonder how well that'll pan out. And just to be on the safe side... Alright, now to the meat of the gameplay. Latest data gathered from observations has been incorporated into this map. Please note newly observed artifacts and structures, Dr. Brown. So here's how the rest of the game is going to go. All over this cylindrical ship are spots we can visit. Some of them move around, and we select whichever areas are near us, and once we click one, we get a little schematic of that area. Let's start here.
Hello again, how are you doing? Isn't this a fantastic place? Every time I see something new, I wonder about the beings that created the spaceship. I was just over at the tent site, talking with Richard Wakefield. He was showing me a couple of items that Michael O'Toole had found and left there. One of them was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. still amazes me. Here we are inside of an extraterrestrial spaceship carrying on a normal conversation. What an astounding life. Oops. Looks like Dr. Brown needs me. I've got to get going. I hope to see you soon.
Some of these spots are just one-time visit locations. I share some people's sentiments that the terrain inside the ship is kind of a little bit of a letdown, because it all seems to be just bleak terrain dotted with bits of mechanical junk. This cover of the original book is much more vibrant. It has like grass and rivers and even actual buildings. But maybe it'll look more vibrant as we explore.
The sea separates the Rama cylinder into two distinct halves. There is no land bridge observable. The cylindrical sea appears to bisect the Rama cylinder into two hemicylinders. It is currently frozen solid. That half-buried machine is over a kilometer long. This appears to be a robotic refuse disposal system.
Oh, hi. Francesca and I call this thing a trash buyout. It's part of a giant refuse system we've been investigating and documenting ever since the lights came on. The garbage men, the ones who pick up the trash, are the crab buyouts. Those bizarre green and white creatures moving around Rama in the bowling pin formations. I can't believe our esteemed leader thinks we're actually going to be able to capture one of those damn things and take it back to Earth with us. Brown, Wakefield, and Turgenev have come up with some elaborate scheme to drop us there from a helicopter and lift a buyout into the air. If you ask me, they haven't done enough safety analysis. Those crab buyouts look like they could turn pretty damn nasty, and their mouths certainly have enough sharp teeth. Here, take a look at this data cube when you have the time. It has some footage Francesca and I shot of the crabs moving around, picking up garbage and dropping it into bins stationed in front of the trash buyouts. Every so often, these bins empty into some kind of underground system. So far, we haven't been able to find it. See you around. Take care of yourself, and don't stand in front of any of those crab buyouts.
So those are the crab buyouts, huh? I think the name means it's like a contraction of biological robot. So it's like almost a cyborg, but it's mostly robot with a little bit of living material inside. There are these tiles all over the landscape, and if it's not obvious, they'll definitely be part of some kind of puzzle later on. So much, in fact, that there will be more than we'll ever need. Huh, no lines there.
This cube appears to be made from some alien plastic. However, there appears to be something embedded in it.
These arrows between inside the compass indicate the directions we can actually go. Oh, I passed over something. Yeah, see, there's a hut right here. Ah, there it is. Well, well. I think we found the Biot's dispatch point.
The entrance to the large shed. The entrance to the large shed. My sensors indicate a variety of machines.
So here we can actually get a close-up look at what these Biots are.
A machine that resembles a centipede. I will designate it as a centipede Biot.
Yeah, sorry about the audio. I couldn't find any subtitle mods or way to tweak the speech and music. But yeah, these are centipede Biots.
I sense a biological component to these creatures.
Aha!
Sharp scissor-like appendages are surrounding this Biot's face. It will be designated a crab Biot. This Biot has a set of different colored lenses around its head. I will designate it as a mantis Biot.
Notice how these are all green and have sets of 3 eyes also.
Obviously capable of lifting heavy loads, I will name this a crane Biot for our computer records.
Hello, what are these ones?
These Biots actually appear to be aspirating underwater. They shall henceforth be known as shark Biots.
Shark Biots, eh? Hey, better stay away from those.
This Biot looks as though it has been locked behind that gate for good reason. I will call it a spider Biot. It seems as though each of the Biots have been represented on this drawing. This must be their home. A gate keeps the spider Biots from escaping to the plains. Could you imagine what could happen if they got out?
Is that foreshadowing? Alright. Hell, I would have really missed that one. Yeah, Sierra games are notorious for their pixel hunting. Alright, what's next? So yeah, you're safe if you're behind the crab biot formations, but not so when you're in front of them. Oh, Takagishi.
Ah, hello. I wasn't expecting you. I was trying to figure out why the Ramans placed this here. Are they trying to prevent our going in the direction of that large structure over there? At first I thought so, but now I'm not so sure. I think there's a pattern in the way the discharges flow between the two sides. Sorry, I must go. I need it over at the biot capture site.
So there's a giant plasma barrier preventing us from going to this building.
These devices are capable of generating huge amounts of electrical energy. Those discharges are on the order of 1,000 gigawatts.
Oops, sorry about that. I hope you aren't upset because we've killed your alter ego, the replacement astronaut. We just wanted to remind you that there are some dangers inside Rama. Take this fellow, for example. Although he's just a garbage collector, you'd better keep out of his way. That stuff in his mouth is pretty scary. As biots go, this one's not too bright. You could even mistake one of us for a piece of trash, in which case we'd be carried to a trash biop like this one and would end up in the Rama dump. The crab biop picks up anything it considers to be trash. Nothing remains on the ground in plain sight for very long. Don't be discouraged. Rama is a wonderful place to explore, and that's what you should be doing. But explore carefully. Look at every item. Try to figure out why the Ramans put it there. And of course, have fun. And please, don't die every hour or so.
Well, that's good. Unlike Odyssey games, it actually makes an autosave from where you died. Because yes, as shown, you can die in this game. Well, it's simpler than it looks. We just need to watch this pattern and see when the open space comes up. As in, how long it stays off.
Oops, sorry about that. I hope you aren't upset because we've killed your alter ego.
Think. You can skip the death scene with escape. I took a couple tries. So it's... Now we're across, and thankfully, we can turn it off on the other side. So this is where the tiles come into play. It's a simple shape logic puzzle, but there'll be many of these. 3, 4, 5... So obviously the next stage is a pentagon, but which one? Well, the bottom is black and the top is white, so... This area is called London because the building outside resembles the Parliament. Get a load of this music. I'll talk more about the music in part 2. Just... Yeah, you can tell it's very compressed, but... Again, I'll talk more about that later.
These boards have a locked door over them.
So in here is some kind of museum exhibit.
These displays seem to be here to tell us about the nature of this Rama ship.
Sounded like something opened. So it seems that this ship passes through his solar system, whips around the sun to gain more energy, and just continues on. Graphics might be so-so, but this music is incredible. So fiddling with the museum actually opened these panels. And as it turns out, these are maps of the ship, and if we put them in the right order, something will happen. Close, but... Give me a moment, guys. I'm just trying to figure this out. It's deceptive how these lines look very similar to each other. Trying to figure out what goes with this curve right here. There it is. These spots lit up. And if we click on them, we can get previews of where they are. So this is where we are, London. Well, this one looks intriguing. Almost looks like a city of gold. This one's easier because it's one single egg. This is a map of a place we won't see until part 2. And it's important because it's a maze, which is why I'm taking a screenshot.
It seems there are walkways across the liquid in the bottom of the pit. My sensors indicate a steady flow of a variety of materials through these pipes.
Once again, the lack of OSHA standards shines, but I'm kinda giving it leeway because this is an alien ship. Hey, a mantis pilot.
I detect no activation control for this door. This device is the elevator actuator. It appears to be a light receptor.
Well, we do have if you look at our multi-tool, we have cutters, a knife, a spoon, and a flashlight. But it reacted to red light. Although we did pick up something that is red. So here's how the combination system works. You select one item in close-up, and then click the second item with the first item. Oh, lovely. So this is where all the trash the crab biots picked up is being dumped.
These are drains for fluid in the pits.
When will it end? We have so many of these tiles.
These are drains for fluid in the pits.
Well, I think we've done all we could here for now, so let's head to the next site.
These carts are the same as the ones next to the trash buyouts out on the plains.
Same triangular port, so... Come on. I'm telling you, the amount of puzzle tiles we collect is just ridiculous. Alright, next side.
Oh, hi. I'm glad you're here. Otto asked me to leave this computer card in the tent site, and I'm on telecast deadline. Thank you so much. I'll see you later.
Thank you, Sabatini. Well, as it happens, we actually have a use for this. Decryption. So now we can read that encrypted message from Otto Heilmann to Yamanaka and Tabori. After consultation with Admiral Nixon, it's been decided that we will proceed with the deployment of the Trinity package without General O'Toole's knowledge or consent. Since it was necessary for me to obtain Borzov's code keys anyway, Nixon supplied O'Toole's as well. Only the three of us and Dr. Brown are among the crew are aware of what we're doing. You are hereby authorized to implement pages 11 through 14 of the revised Trinity contingency procedure dated January 22, 2200. That sounds suspicious. Oh, that's different.
It seems to be some sort of plant life, but it is metallic.
Wait. Well, at least we have some place for these items. We only need one more lens.
I believe this is a distillation mechanism.
Since it's missing some parts, I'll leave it be for now.
A sad state of disrepair. Tisk tisk. A buyout of some sort that has obviously been in disrepair for a long time. Did you see that? A pigeon from hell.
Oh, that's... This looks promising. Just cut this wire.
That cable is too strong to cut with that.
Oh, come on. Well, nothing we can do about this poor bird for now. So what's this thing we got a sneak peek of?
I detect an empty space inside the hub of this structure, and an opening facing us.
We saw this sneak peeked in London. Okay then. interesting. When we touched down, when we entered this area, that thing moved counterclockwise once, and when we moved again, it moved counterclockwise twice. So we go backward then. Now it's counterclockwise 3 times. That gives me an idea. If we can catch this thing when it's rotating, we might be able to get inside.
Those are the great horns on the far end of the Rama cylinder.
And this is what the compass is pointing toward. If I had to guess, these things are how Rama actually propels itself. And did I mention the reason this ship is called that? Is because in the 23rd century we ran out of Roman names for celestial bodies, so we picked the Hindu god of love instead.
I detect a doorway at the end of that spoke.
Heck yeah. Well, judging by a lack of stairways, I'm suspecting we'll be coming back here later.
A small room is visible above the monitor.
Well, that's just plain static. Okay. Let's leave that sit there for now. Huh, this looks like that egg we saw on that other map.
An island with large buildings in the cylindrical sea.
Surprised there isn't music playing. Well, now there is. Just in case. Yep.
Oops, sorry about that. I hope you aren't upset because we've killed your alter ego, the replacement astronaut.
Skipped it there. Yeah, now I can click here. There's actually an alternate game over, but it takes a lot of effort to get it.
I'm sorry, but for security reasons, you're not allowed to continue in this direction. Dr. Brown has designated me to control this access way temporarily. Later in the mission, when our explorations are more complete, this pathway will no longer be verboten. Perhaps you have not understood what I said. This area is off limits to you. You cannot proceed in this direction. Now turn around and go back the way you came. Or I will notify Dr. Brown, and I warn you, he will not be happy with your behavior.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Now, Otto told me you ignored him and are now committing a serious breach of security. Now, let me make this crystal clear, Ace. Unless you turn around now and head in the opposite direction, you'll be fired for insubordination and removed from Rama immediately. You got that? Now turn your butt around and do what you're told.
I've actually never done this before. That's why I'm interested.
You just had to push, didn't you, Ace? Well, my friend, you've now crapped in your mess kit and ruined what looked like a promising career. I wasn't bluffing. You are hereby fired and ordered to leave Rama immediately. Lucky for us, none of us will ever have to see you again.
The only death without a retry point. Good thing I saved. Now let's check out this area. These tiles are a bit more complicated. See, the reason there are so many tiles that if you don't have the ones that work, you can intentionally fail one of them and it'll bring up a different set. Now here is where the puzzles really get tricky.
Those objects seem to be common terrestrial golf balls.
Now this is interesting. It seems like the builders of the ship already know our number system. Like they're training other beings to see it. This music is funky, by the way. The first time I played, I thought I was walking into an alien nightclub. So these are the 3 puzzles we have to pass. The simplest one is we just have to repeat whatever number is displayed. And they actually have an icon for us, but there's 2 others as well. And this opens the next door. But I'm gonna hang around and solve the others because some of them are actually important. So next up, we have a counting minigame where we simply have to count all the dots on the screen. That's what the 8 on the other wall is for. And these lines are actually in groups of 11, so... So that's 77 plus 4, which is... They're all different sets that go in a cycle depending on which ones you get right and wrong. They're not randomized. Thankfully, I have a TI-84 calculator next to me for the harder stuff. One plus...
Whatever that was, it has disintegrated with age.
Well, that was a ripoff. And on to stage 3, actual arithmetic. Ain't this interesting? The aliens are teaching us our own math. Oh, that's a glitch. There shouldn't be a number up in the left corner. See, it doesn't let you correct your errors. You get one chance and that's it. And our reward is a gem. And now, into Bangkok itself. That's what this place is named. Holy! It's an entire museum of our culture.
A human male statue.
O, U, E.
A female statue.
They even know we play electric guitars.
A musical instrument. A drawing of an ancient human machine. A virtual game machine of some type.
So in 2200, holographic games are what we use, it seems.
An astronaut helmet.
Where did they get this information
A
from?
model of the human planet Earth.
Hopefully not from TV broadcasts.
An ISA Mark 14 spaceship.
This is recent stuff too.
A lamp from Earth. A chair. A pair of heavy clippers.
I'm gonna come back here later because I think something might have happened at the base camp.
The refrigerator is used for storing temperature-sensitive samples if any are found.
I don't care how critical this is, I need it. Now we can fix one of the machines here. Actually, wait.
Oh, hello there. Haven't seen you in ages. Look, I found yet another new and fascinating Raman artifact. This one seems to be a lens of some kind. It's neither glass nor plastic. Engineering lab's back on, and they'll have a field day with it. Still, it's sufficiently translucent enough that I'm sure it is an optical instrument of some kind. Oh, here. Take a look. Oh, damn, someone's always calling for the chief engineer. Got to dash.
Yeah, notice that nobody's actually working with us, solving all this. We're entirely on our own. So what did that do? Well, there was that plastic cube over at the buyout hub. Yep. No matter how many tiles they pick up, there's always more. Alright, let's get to fixing. Plunk this in. Feed this in. Start the water flow. And get cleaning. First with the machine itself.
The tray is quite clean now.
Some of these tiles ended up in the spaceship's trash hold, and so we're cleansing them, basically. We literally can't progress without doing that. But now we should be able to proceed, and it seems the creators of the ship created a museum about us and our number system. How about that? The next stage is this is actually an elevator. So now we can go up. Wait, Now check this out.
Those must be alien golf balls.
Remember back in Riven when we were going over the Dunny number system? Well, this game predates Riven by a few months. They're not the even easy to follow square symbols. They're more like squiggles. Oh, this is gonna be fun. And judging by the amount of buttons here, it seems we're looking at hexadecimal.
Confusing, isn't it? I was playing with its mate downstairs. The Ramans are almost insidiously clever. These machines seem to be some sort of screening process. Haven't a clue yet why we're being screened. Should become clear after we've completed more of our explorations. Still, what I think the Ramans are trying to check is if we are numerically literate. And if the same fundamental paradigms apply here as they did downstairs, then it's just a matter of their alien numbers looking different than ours. After you figure out the paradigms, the machines, they really aren't that difficult. Yeah. Oh, if our impatient leader, Dr. Brown, weren't waiting for me outside, I'd stay and give you a hand, but I have complete confidence you'll figure it out. Eventually. Good luck.
Yep.
These machines look identical to the ones on the first level, only the symbols are different, and the icon that is lit is of an unknown species.
Now here's where it really gets tricky. We not only have to count, but also count in hexadecimal. The best way is to abstract this down to the actual ASCII language. And unlike the one below, solving this counting puzzle is actually mandatory because there's something we need. Thankfully, I installed a program on my calculator that converts one base to the other. So 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B. Whoa, Jesus. Pardon the lack of music. The scene with Dr. Wakefield actually prevented music from triggering. 11 plus 5, that's 16. Man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 110, 111, 6F. See? This item is critical for the end game. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A. No. A, B, C, D, E, F. So the best way to tell is that from here to here, these symbols are classified as A through F. So the result for this would be E. I can't imagine what players would have to deal with in the 90s with no internet or access to an online converter or calculator. Oh, Nelly, this is tough. Oh, I didn't read the sign right. This is the last stage. And we get a second gem. This will all make sense later, guys, I promise. I think I can reset it if I use the elevator. There we go. So what's in this museum? Whoa. It's one of those bird creatures.
A statue of an avian creature. A statue of an avian creature. It has 2 colored neck rings. Apparently a life form, I will log this creature into our computer under the name Sessile. This statue of a previously unknown life form that I will designate as Myrmecat for our computer records.
This is the one that was depicted in the icon.
This round multicolored object is either an egg or a food source for one of these creatures. A lamp such as I have never seen before. Apparently a piece of furniture. Possibly a tool of some sort. It isn't floating like the other exhibits.
Yeah, in fact, we can actually take this. So this might be what we need to free that avian. Hold on. Day of Space Travel 2?
A ship of unknown design. A helmet. A planet that I do not have in my databank.
So this is their world? Because the one on Earth was showing flight paths.
Probably a musical instrument of some type. These changing pictures show a relationship between these alien creatures.
So it looks like the sessiles are how the Myrmecats reproduce. And they're in some kind of symbiotic relationship. But then why are the avians grouped into it? I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting kind of sick of these logic puzzles. I feel like at this point, the Ramans would already know we could get this far. I mean, this isn't a psychology test. And now on to the third and final floor of the museum. And possibly the best track in the games.
Those certainly aren't golf balls.
This time the system is base 8.
These machines look like those from the other two levels, but with a distinct difference. Instead of symbols for numerals, there appear to be color patterns. Just in case something goes wrong. Believe it or not, I find this system actually easier to follow because it's less complicated.
Now for the final math trial. Blue is minus. If I'm not saying anything, I'm just trying to use this calculator app. I know it's been kind of tedious up to this point, but we have been making some discoveries. The third and final gem. And I'll tell you, there's a reason I went through all that. Because if we look back at the elevator, there's something new here. The puzzle box retracted, and there's something behind it. Well, this is where the jewels go. And what is our prize? A reference cube for all the different number systems. Probably the most useful thing in the whole game. All that was worth it, I tell ya. So what's in this final room?
Why are we included here with these aliens? Could they too be passengers on this vessel? This 8-legged creature looks bloated. Sort of reminds me of Falstaff. This creature has 8 tentacles and a spider-like skin texture. I shall designate it as an octospider.
Octospider, huh? So they communicate in flashes of light.
A pygmy version of this creature next to it. Although it resembles a musical instrument, my senses detect it to be incapable of producing sound. A technical drawing that I cannot decipher. Possibly a game machine.
Okay, of all the game consoles, this one's just silly. It's almost like Pong.
A lamp that generates pure white light. A blend of frequencies with exactly equal proportions.
Notice how all of these exhibits are the same across every species.
Furniture for an extremely alien shape. A tool, possibly for cutting dense matter. A helmet for a very large head. A space vehicle of extremely unusual design. A planet that I have no knowledge of.
Not much to say about this planet. It's as if it can't even explain it enough. Is it a gas giant or something? So yeah, we're inside a 3-story building. Well, with all that done, I'm gonna head back to London, and actually I think I'm gonna, well, there's only one more logic puzzle to solve, and I think after that I'll call it for this part. is I'm overloaded with all the wrong tiles, and only one of them is correct. Or worse, I could have missed one that was correct entirely. Well, since I'm thoroughly stumped, I think I'll call it here and save for when I do finish this. See you next time.